What up, guys? Kel'Thuzad is dead. Very satisfying to get this kill in, especially now that there's one boss left, and that being the Lady Sylvanas Windrunner. Surprisingly, I've learned a lot from Kel'Thuzad within our very first few pulls. This was right before the Christmas period where we all stopped and took a break for Christmas. And one of them being realized that Kel'Thuzad is very deceiving, not only lore-wise, but mechanically deceiving, and we're going to come across a few examples of this. The first one being, this fight wants to make you think that you want to set up for AoE, because there's going to be a lot of ads, but you don't really want to do that, and you're going to see me ignore certain ads at certain points for certain reasons. So my setup is based on single target, ultimately because it does have that last burn phase, which makes or breaks the fight. So either you die or the boss does. So I reroll back to Warlock, purely because I miss playing the Warlock, especially Demonology. Summoning your own Burning Legion is the coolest thing I can play in this game. So no more Druid, and the Venthia Boomy is getting nerfed in the next patch, so I was going to reroll anyway. Now I've really allowed reroll turns to take combo progression right away, assuming that they're good eye level. So let's start the video. We have set positions for the echoes and the spikes. The echoes are going to be going on green, and we're going to come back to spikes in a minute. That was a pain in the ass. So off the bat, we're just going to blow them the fuck up, because there's very minimal mechanics coming in. The ads that you're going to prioritize over everything else is the tank ads. We've had so many times, as you can see they're coming up right now, we've had so many times where the tank just gets chopped up in half, because what needs to happen is that the tank needs to run over the ads when they die, but at the same time the other tank needs to tank everything, the boss, the A-bombs, which I can imagine is a bit difficult. And also the way this fight works is that if someone dies, no matter who they are, no matter if you want to do it or not, you have to res them, but those reses are better used for the last phase, which we'll get into later, because there's this sacrifice thing that's going on in the last phase. So if tank dies, if your worst DPS dies, you've got to get him up, because they are going to be rezzed as like mind control people. So right here we're trying to push him before he does an next set of tank ads, which I think we do. Yeah, we do. About cool. 150 minutes transition. Anyway, so we're talking about the mechanics. So the spike comes up. There's only one of them at the start. I ignore. Actually, let's go back a little bit here. Was it here? No, it was just before here. Yeah. So one spike comes up, but of course there's going to be more of them, and of course it's going to be more pain in the ass to manage later on. I'll tell you guys why. Why I don't attack it is because I know it's going to die on its own. And some people say that it's going to combo with the Frost Blast, the Soak. At the same time the damage on the spike comes in. Not only that, but it's being placed right next to melee, so melee are just going to clear it down. So am I with all my abilities, Hannah Gul'dan, Fellstorm, Demonic Strength, stuff like that. The skeleton ads, I just ignore as well, because I know we need to push the boss before he does another set of tank ads. Because a set of tank ads, cool, when a set of ads is going to spawn, is not great. And you're going to see us fuck us up later on in the fight. So we get into our first intermission, and what's going on? Well, we have a group to go downstairs, which wasn't our ideal group since we kept changing it. If I had to say, probably, if we sent Susie Lou instead of either the Warriors, Narison, or Solomia, it would have made it a bit safer, because we had a few deaths to the dot that you get from being downstairs, which was very rough. Actually, let me turn that down just a tad. So this is where Heroic kicks in. On Heroic you have to kill the A-bombs and the Banshees right after the boss comes back, so it's about now they want to die. Because if you kill them too fast, they'll res 10 seconds later, and if you kill them too slow, they're going to wipe your raid. So you really don't have any choice. So once the boss comes back, the mechanics are going to start multiplying. So you're going to start getting more echoes and more spikes, more skellies, just like Il'gynoth from Neolotha. Things are going to get harder as the fight goes on. So this is where people need to start dealing with multiple things at once, and this is where you'd want ad priority. So the ad priority is still the tank heads above everything else, because don't want the tank to die. Actually, let me just talk about this real quick. Let me just pause the video. So we've got, oh shit. Okay, so we've got 2 markers for the spikes heads. For the time we're going to get 1 and 2 spikes, we're going to put them both on yellow, and we're going to cleave them down to get 2 stacks. And then later on in the fight, when we get 3 spikes, we're going to put them on purple. So this is the reason why dealing with the frost spikes is a pain in the ass, because we were originally bursting down all 3 at the same time, but we could never do that. We'd kill 2 right away, and then a few seconds later the 3rd one would die. So it's just wasted healing, and very, very dangerous as well. Even at 2 stacks, the damage can be really, really high, but our healers did manage to handle 2 stacks of the spikes. Ideally, you'd probably want all the spikes to be spread, so you can't AoE them, you could just focus them one at a time. And especially later on in the fight, when you're going to get 3 spikes at once, you can kill 1, wait for the debuff, kill another, wait for the debuff, and then just let the 3rd one die on its own. Whether or not that's viable, I don't know. That's just my thinking. So let's keep going. Because yeah, it's not, unless you can kill them all at the exact same time, it's not worth wiping the raid. Because yeah, there's a lot of damage going on. And there could be other damage from other things as well. So nothing much is really happening here. We're still playing the mechanics. We're still putting the tank heads above everything else. The skellies can wait. And we have 4 hunters, so we had lots of tire traps, we had vortexes, knockbacks, all that sort of shit. Mass stuns. Mass grip if we need it as well, but I don't think we used it at all during our progression. But I think when the next boss phase is going to get a little more crazy. So you've got to get these howling blizzards coming up at the same time the soaks are coming. You just want to make sure that you're not in a position where you're going to be rooted in an area where the blizzard or where the patches are going to grow and start killing you off, because that can happen, and that has killed people, myself included. But I think that's just poor positioning on the people who have died, but that's just me. Okay, so second intermission is exact same as the first. You want to just even out the damage you're putting on the ads. At the same time, if you're going into the phylactery, I'm not someone that goes into the phylactery because I'm a warlock, so I can't do shit down there. You want to avoid everything you can while still making sure that the ad goes down, because if you get hit by one ability, it puts your poor healer far behind, and you're just going to kill yourself. Because if the ad, or I say the ad, but it's called the remnant. If the remnant doesn't go down, then obviously something's going wrong. And I will admit, I did just on one of my previous pulls, I unloaded my DPS onto a Banshee by accident, which killed it way sooner than it should have. So bear that in mind, that is an issue that can happen. So the third boss phase is really tricky. This is where you don't want anyone to die, because you will need the battle resistance for the last phase. So you're going to see a lot of things go wrong in this phase. The big one is that the ads are still up. The bench, or the ads were still up. Actually, let me just go back to the to where it comes out. I can see the ads are still up with fairly high health pool. This Banshee is wailing on the raid. And then the static spikes are going to appear in a line, you'll see in a second. that's not good because they can potentially be cleaved down all at once. And can I just say, these echoes, or the green circles that'll come out in a minute, they need to be taken out immediately. I cannot stress that enough. Because you can't just linger in melee with that like some people have been doing, because that'll silence them. Not only that, but you can't just run around with a debuff either. We had a few people do that as well. You have to know exactly where to put it. You have to know where to put the echoes and the spikes. The spike less important, but because you're going to be preventing people from doing damage. Also, a lot of solo soaks are going to happen in this phase. If you're solo soaking in phase 3, then you're not going to be helping the raid because you're not going to be able to do it in the last phase. So solo soaks have to happen in either phase 1 or 2, so they can be up again for the last phase, because this is a long fight. But yeah, I mean, we have 4 hunters, we have 2 shadow priests, very dangerous, but can solo soak, and a paladin.
Well done.
And of course, it's very important that you're calling out that you're going to solo. Not only that, call out immediately if you're going to solo. If you have turtle up, if you have dispersion, bubble, then call it out immediately, so you can just let people know like if you should stack with them or not. Usually the stacks go into the boss, so if you can't solo, then you just go into the boss and you just yeah, you just call out for help if you need it, because people can be spread in this fight a lot because of killing ats and such. So coming into the last intermission, you just want to burn as much DPS into the ads as you can, so they're not going to be up for a long time in the last phase. And to accomplish this, we're going to be grabbing one person from the downstairs group to help us kill the ads. In this case, it was Shah with her mega DPS. I'm not sarcastic on that, by the way. So it's not going to be long before the final boss, or before the boss comes back for one final round. Because you only need to do 20% of the remnant's health. So as you can see, I've perfectly lined up my cooldowns to summon out a massive tyrant with my pot and bloodlust. So happy days. But we still have this phase to deal with, and ads. So this is the do or die moment. So this is where you want solo soaks to happen. So I think someone's going to get it. I think Zeron's going to get this first. Oh no, Zeron already did his. So Zeron did his perfectly. He put his puddle far from us, which is great, which is a good tip that I have. If you are solo soaking in the final phase, run into an existing puddle of ice and place it there, because one, it's going to cover the room far less quickly, and two, it's not going to be a problem if we end up running to that spot. Anyway, so I think what happened there, let me just go back. So Ruby got the soak, and yes, that was quite dated. That was bad. So that soak, yeah, I think that killed how many people? It killed Nara, killed Red, almost killed Zeron, and because of that, it's putting the healers so far behind. You'll see as the phase goes on. Zeron gets another soak, but he has nothing to save him this time. So again, he runs away, puts the puddle out of the way, and dies a hero's death, I'd say. He's just there. So Shah's going to get the next soak, which I believe she does. She turtles and puts it near where Zeron put his first one, which is great. I think we're getting mind control people coming up. The boss is slowly dying. But we do have to kill the boss. Not even these A-bombs matter. Just nothing else matters. I think our pug healer gets this soak. She just bolts off away from us. Boss is at 10%, and we still have some decent firepower left, so we just keep going. to get one final soak. But the boss dies before that becomes even a problem. That's the fight. That's the fight. It's a lot to take in, and it's a lot to figure out. And as I said, this fight can be deceiving. Single target damage is preferred over AoE, no matter what people might say. Stacking and nuking all the spikes at once might seem like a good idea, but it really isn't. Saving reses might be a good idea, but it really isn't on this fight, which really makes you use your brain, and because of that it results in a bit of experimentation, which does drag out the progression of this boss. I think progressing this boss made everyone feel a bit better, because I don't think anyone liked doing the runes, especially myself, from the previous boss. So this was a better boss to progress on. So that's the commentary. Actually, I can't really call it commentary anymore, because I'm pausing, going back, going forward, doing all that sort of shit. I don't know where you would call it. So anyway, I hope this helped, and then we'll get the Sylvanas one out whenever we kill it. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.